But just to extend my warm welcome, it is, I think I saw you this morning, curbing your enthusiasm. I'm not curbing my enthusiasm, I'm really happy that we've had the chance to get out and that we're actually doing this as a hybrid event. Some of you who've been to our Innovation Fridays, we refer to it lovingly or endearingly as Cake Friday, but we also think of it as a house party. And so for us, it is very much about having the chance to have informal conversations and be in a place where actually you're not coming with an agenda. I was talking to some people earlier around the fact that actually that's where you get the chance to have some really good conversations and the opportunity to meet people that otherwise you wouldn't. Obviously, the people that are in the room here, we're going to get the chance to do that, and then hopefully online as well. But it is much easier in person, and we know that. So we're really glad, because as a team, we've not been together doing this, hence why we're a little bit rusty. And normally we don't make it so necessarily formal, but because we knew that we were going to have an audience online, we wanted to make it a little bit so that it would work in that hybrid way. Just a couple of things, because obviously this week we've got, we're all absorbing what has come our way as businesses and organisations from the budget, and obviously taking in everything that we need to be thinking about that's actually going to help us in that recovery, and really supporting where we're going forward. And obviously this particular piece that we're doing, we've had funding from the EU, and we are looking at how we can actually draw in other funds to be able to continue doing the work that we're doing. In addition to that, obviously Sunday we've got COP26 happening, and really delighted that the university will be represented there, as well as the fact that we've got a number of other businesses that are from the region will be there at COP26. And obviously it's not only topical, we know that we're at a point of inflection where we need to do something and make some things happen, and obviously looking to industry and business in terms of supporting that climate piece, as well as working towards zero carbon. So there's a number of things, because obviously today we're talking about startup, scale up, and really beyond that. And our work that we do at the Innovation Hub is very much about providing support to businesses and as being able to collaborate on that basis. But just to say, very warm welcome, and as I say, towards the end of the session we will point out colleagues so that you do know who is here from the university, and obviously if you're wanting introductions or anything, I'm happy to make those as needed. I'm going to pass over to Carmine. Richard Ambrosi unfortunately couldn't be here, so we're going to play a video of Richard, who is the incoming Space Park Leicester Executive Director. And obviously we're really pleased to be hosting here at Space Park Leicester, which is the new facility here. And obviously Richard will say a little bit more about what this facility has done, and it only opened in the summer, so very much wanting to make use of this as a space. I think that's it. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from everybody this morning. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will launch Richard Ambrosi video right now.
Welcome to Space Park. My name is Richard Ambrosi. I'm the new Executive Director for Space Park, but unfortunately I'm unable to be at Space Park with you today. The image on the slide was recently included in a Harvard Business Review article that aptly summarizes the changes we've seen in the space sector over the past decade and the changes we are expecting in the coming decade. The global space sector is growing. Growth is exceeding expectations, but a significant portion of this is from the space for Earth economy, which includes telecommunications, navigation, defense, Earth observation, to name a few examples. And this is certainly the pattern we've been seeing in the UK. The sector in the UK is about 5% of the global sector, which is worth around $300 billion. The UK has the ambition to grow this significantly in the coming decades to reach 10% of the global sector. The space for space economy, however, which includes things like in-space manufacturing and assembly, space logistics, the cislunar economy, space resources, greater presence of robotic systems and humans in space. This is smaller but growing, and we expect this to grow substantially in the coming decades. In both the space for Earth and space for space segments, we have seen notable decentralization of activity away from national agencies towards significant and notable private sector initiatives. For example, the recent successes of SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic. We've also seen a greater drive to provide commercial solutions to access the lunar surface, for example, via the Commercial Lunar Payload Services Program, also known as CLPS. One thing that is important from the UK's perspective is that now we have a new space regulator in the Civil Aviation Authority, is the importance of having the right competitive regulatory framework that will enable risk-taking and incentivize inward and increased investment in the space sector. The space sector is seen as a national priority and will be a key building block of the UK strategy to be a global science superpower. So we've seen some notable shifts in the way space is organized in the UK. We've had the establishment of the National Space Council, Space Command, and the BEI Space Directorate. And there are signs of a positive growth in the strategic importance of space in the national interest. So the UK space strategy, which will be released within weeks, will combine both defense and civil strategies. And for universities, the number of interfaces and stakeholders has increased. We don't just have the UK Space Agency, we also have MOD and BEIS and government to deal with. So growth in the UK space sector means growth in people with the right skills will be required and the infrastructure to support this ambition. And Space Park brings all of these ingredients to bear. So this is all in the context of maintaining a significant UK leadership role within the European Space Agency as we prepare for the European Space Agency Council of Ministers meeting in 2022, where budgets will be set for the next 3 years. So Space Park in this broad context has come at the right time. So in terms of the overall Space Park vision, this is based on a number of key components to create what is effectively going to be a global space technology cluster within the East Midlands. The university will be at its heart. Focus is on making space more accessible. This requires deriving more utility from research, which is at the core of innovation. If we're developing technologies that are tackling science questions or analyzing complex data to learn more about the Earth and the environment, there is the importance of also determining whether the answer to these questions can help solve some of our global challenges, for example, climate change or net zero. So part of the challenge for Space Park is how to make it easier, more efficient, faster, and cheaper to access the space environment without compromising reliability or quality. So things like automation, digital technologies, machine learning, and advanced manufacturing are all part of the package to address this challenge. Can we make the UK a competitive place, a catalyst for greater investment in the space sector, forming the strategic partnerships that are necessary with industry and with the public sector? So Space Park Leicester is uniquely placed in the UK, and in my view, has all of the ingredients to address this challenge. In terms of Space Park as a catalyst for change, I think in the context of the Space City of Leicester, there are a number of really important initiatives that we are supporting. First, I'd like to focus on is the Freeport activity. So there is a big drive to have a Freeport in the East Midlands, and we are working on supporting that very, very actively. And then there is also the broader site development opportunity and Space Park as a catalyst for really expanding the site, the broader Pioneer Park site, and having a space technology cluster in the heart of Leicester. So I will stop there and wish you all a very productive day. Thank you very much.
So I founded Skyfarer back in 2017, and it was all on that message of trying to provide societal change, and that's through this new high-value technology of unmanned aerial vehicles or drones being used in positive use cases like medical delivery. I think I just love solving problems in general. So being given a problem that, I mean, even if no one has solved it or it's a bit uncharted, then it excites me in some ways. And that's one of the reasons why I went into what we're doing with drones and medical delivery. As an engineer, you tend to think that you can solve all the problems yourself and do everything yourself, but I quickly learned that that just wasn't the case. There was too many facets that needed attention. And I'd met Paulius at university in my undergrad, and I noticed he had a certain set of skills when it comes to working with UAVs and that kind of technology, and that's when he came on board to the team, and we really propelled it forward together.
Skyfarer originally was supposed to be a drone manufacturing company which would supply drones to both UK and international customers. But the thing is that when it came to building an actual drone, we found out that's not the piece of puzzle that's missing. The piece that's missing actually is technology, software, logistical procedures that can make that point A to point B delivery safe and secure. That's where we realized we need more help, and 2 of us is not going to be enough.
So we're at Cranfield Airport, and in collaboration with Cranfield University, we're doing some emulated delivery operations at the airport itself. And this is a complex operation with manned aviation continuing. We want to prove that we can operate in these complex environments alongside manned aviation because we have those procedures in place and we have the communication needed to be able to do it.
Altitude Angel's role today is really to do a number of different things. With Skyfarer, we operate as the connection, allowing them to operate safely and put in flight plans and to be able to track their vehicle as it's flying through the airspace. As one of our production airports, Cranfield are able to then track these operations, approve flight missions, and also see their operations live against manned traffic that is operating in real time as we see around the airport.
Altitude Angel provides a lot of the cloud services and back-end technology to allow us to integrate safely with UK airspace. So what we've done is we've created a number of apps and Raspberry Pi implementations that connect to that service and provide telemetry from our drones to their service, basically. So the cellular connectivity allows us to fly further than line of sight. O2 were an obvious choice really because they actually have interest in drones themselves, so they were a great partner really to work with, and they've provided so much knowledge and help with the technology as well. They've also helped us with some of the security concerns and particularly on our roadmap as well, what we're thinking in the future, so they've been fantastic.
So the challenge for Elliot and the team was to get permission from Ofcom to allow them to use 4G on their drone for this trial. And I guess the challenge for the industry going forward is that we've now got to make this, permission to use the cellular network on a drone an everyday occurrence. It can't be, something that you have to go and ask special permission every time you need to use it if we're going to see the benefits of this innovation come to pass. And of course, ultimately, that allows the pilot to operate both safely and legally by providing that connectivity for the beyond visual line of sight use case.
The most complicated part of this operation is trying to fit in with manned aviation and having to develop all the safety procedures that will enable us to have a safe flight day. The risk is mitigated by trying to develop all the safety procedures in cooperation with our partners, testing of the procedures and adjusting to real-world issues.
So first of all, I really want to pay tribute to Elliot. He has founded a company, and that is a great celebration of initiative and entrepreneurialism actually for one of our students. His vision about using drones for good, so for medical logistics, for making sure you can get those medical products delivered as fast as possible and as greenly as possible, is a real vision, not only for the UK, but much more broadly. So he has done what an entrepreneur should do. He's taken an idea and is really bringing it into reality, and I want to congratulate him on that.
It's very difficult in general to get an idea like this off of the ground, from an idea to something that is at least a proof of concept. So we're very fortunate to have Innovate UK backing us right from the start of our kind of commercialisation roadmap in 2020. And we've recently received funds from UKRI in a COVID-19 call, and they've been able to support the developments within this project and getting to where we are today at Cranfield Airport.
So the Skyfarer mission for us, lots of aspects to why we support Skyfarer and projects like the Skyfarer project. But for us, it's about early demonstration. So we're looking for pace and taking the technologies, applying them and getting early use case demonstration of an integrated range of technologies. And we think this project does exactly this. Drones in particular offer the opportunity to trailblaze some of the technologies that will find their way into larger aircraft of the future as well.
I think the best in people putting on a challenge is to have that level of deep fulfillment in what you're doing. And that's something that goes back to when I was going on this career journey in engineering. I didn't have that fulfillment, and I didn't want to put my all into that job that I was doing. So I think the vision that we have around making drone delivery possible and potentially saving lives with medical delivery is such a powerful message that, I mean, it has got people on board with the vision of Skyfarer, with the team that we've got and with the partners that we have as well. We've built a very diverse team into 4 areas that focus on the technology, the flying, the compliance, and the logistics and supply chain as well. And we've also built a plethora of partnerships, including O2 for that cellular connectivity, Altitude Angel for the unmanned traffic management and deconflicting from aviation, as well as academia like Cranfield University that can provide that expertise into what the future looks like and what we're capable of doing now. So it's a big vision and it needs a big team. And we started off as a blank sheet of paper, one side of paper, easily tearable, and now we are a book where we are much stronger together and we can move forward into making that vision a reality now.
Okay, thank you for watching that video. I like that very last set of words there about making that vision a reality. And what we're going to do now is have a chat with Elliot Parnham here at the front on the innovation side of things. But before we do, I'd just like to introduce Elliot. It's a very impressive CV. I think it is working. So, Elliot has a technical background in advanced aerospace and space engineering, having graduated from Coventry University with a first-class honours degree. Elliot's undergraduate research interests includes optimising drone delivery for delivery operations, drone design for delivery operations. During his final year, Elliot also took part in the Global Leadership Programme and the Institute of Mechanical Engineers UAS Challenge, a team project that required the design and development of a drone for autonomous missions. Shortly after this degree, Elliot went on to complete entrepreneurial training in the Evolve programme and the Tech Incubator programme, learning about how to start a business, run a business, and grow a business. He also took part in the Forward Accelerator programme for the Birmingham Enterprise Community and was nominated in the Evolve Entrepreneurship Awards. During his entrepreneurial training, Elliot went on to do a Masters in Astronautics and Space Engineering at Cranfield, learning and excelling in topics such as rocket propulsion and satellite stability, dynamics, and space communications. In early 2020, Elliot pitched the Market Do It Fund Prize, organised by College University Enterprises and Santander Universities. Money used to kickstart Skyfarer at the start of the pandemic. Subsequently, the Judges Award was achieved at the Santander Emerging Entrepreneurs Challenge. Elliot has since been nominated for the Rising Star Award by Drone Industry Awards organisation, Air Awards. Additionally, Elliot is a partner for unmanned airport drone operations backed by Hyundai Motor. Just to say in that video, Dame Atkinson, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Cranfield University, was formerly the head of engineering here at Leicester, so it's lovely to have a link with Cranfield and what they're doing. Elliot, it'd be great to welcome you up on here.
I absolutely love watching myself on big screen.
Oh, brilliant, that's good to know. The good thing about this actually is Elliot offered me a selection of videos, a number of videos, so Skyfarer do have a real library of videos available, so if you're interested, I'm sure there's a YouTube channel or LinkedIn channel somewhere over the one. I was going to ask Elliot a few questions now about innovation. So Skyfarer had a strong track record in winning innovation funding. What funding aside the ESA BIC has the company received and how are we putting it to use?
So last year, when we kicked off, I did this sort of Do It Funds application with Evolve for University Enterprises. It was only around 5k, but we won it, and that allowed us to get some of the first steps done with compliance that allowed us to actually start flying, so getting off on an idea. And that was around the time that sort of COVID hit as well. So it was a bit of a shocking point for us. We were on a path to go to Africa actually, to do some trials in Gambia. But due to COVID, we couldn't fly, obviously we couldn't travel. So we had to completely pivot. It was a bit of a worrying point for the business right at the get-go. But we were quite fortunate that the government pumped a lot of money into innovation through Innovate UK. And we were quite fortunate to win 50k, 100% grant funding from the business-led innovation bid. And that allowed us to start on this sort of feasibility study and planning of what a drone delivery operation looks like. And how do we implement that in the UK. And then from that, we led on to what I was talking about in this video here, with the UKRI COVID-19 fund, which was about 175k of grant funding. It allowed us to form our consortium, bring everyone together to work together on this common goal of making drone delivery possible. And that's how it culminated with Cranfield University, Cranfield Airport, is doing that emulated delivery trial, proving that drone delivery is possible, and now pushing us on to making drone delivery accessible. So that's our current focus now with the ESA BIC incubator, is how do we bring this to market now? How do we make it scale from niche A to B logistics to networks of scalable logistics?
Okay. So Skyfarer are different to their competitors. You've made a choice to collaborate with proven technology providers rather than develop everything in-house. How is this approach working for you?
So it's a lot less capital intensive to do it that way. There are companies in the world that are doing something similar, that have gone down that sort of vertical integration strategy, and the numbers involved in that are huge, but also it means they're not very robust to change. So they design everything in-house based on one specific point in time, one idea. And in a market of evolving regulation, we need to be robust to change. And that's the paradigm that we sit in. And we feel that collaborating with experts in different areas with enabling technology means that we can get to market quicker, and we can maneuver through that complex minefield of regulatory change.
So you're in the ESA BIC, you just mentioned it. How is Skyfarer using space technology to provide services?
For me personally, it was a massive win to be getting on the ESA BIC because I'm a bit of a space nerd. I did a Masters in astronautics and space engineering, and it was kind of through that period as well that I started to realise that I wanted to try and do something that was related to space technology at least, and we just simply can't do a beyond visual line of sight logistics operation with autonomous vehicles, albeit with autonomous drones, without space technology. We need that communication capability at long range, we need navigation capability, we need weather information, and all of that really comes from space technology. So we are working in the ESA BIC to apply that data that we get from space into this scalable network of drone logistics, and that's in different supply chains, and that from hub to hub, which is more national delivery, down to the middle mile, and then down to the last mile. And this end-to-end ecosystem of drone logistics really enabled by space technology.
Okay, so the ESA BIC UK and Leicester offers incentive funding to help develop products and services for the space sector. How will Skyfarer utilise this funding?
So there's a few different milestones within the ESA BIC we're wanting to cover. One being battery management capability. So we're looking to build a battery management system. If we want to be doing routine delivery operations with autonomous vehicles that are electrically powered, with LiPo batteries that have a fixed cycle life, for an efficient operation, we need to be making the most of those batteries and having complete traceability on them. And there's a scheduling element to it as well, which involves complex data analysis through sort of asset management, inventory management, maintenance, and the batteries and the weather, so that we can give accurate ETAs and fall on this paradigm just-in-time logistics. So yeah, the battery management system is quite a large part of our incubation, and will enable routine just-in-time logistics with drones.
Okay, great. And just finally, Elliot, you joined ESA BIC here at Space Park in August this year. You're going to be incubating for 1 year till July. Where do you think your product or service will be by the time you finish ESA BIC UK?
So in the near term, we are an operator of drones for logistics. We need those personnel, the remote pilots, visual observers in the operation to operate, and that's really due to the standards. But what we're pushing for is to make it as turnkey as possible. So ingrain that process and compliance and integrate all that technology into one system, which really falls down into software, so that software can then be handed off for an organisation to do drone logistics themselves in a hub-centric network or in a kind of spoke standalone operation. And we're looking to develop that first version system within the incubator. So starting on that journey of handing off us being an operator to handing off the operations to other organisations, and moving into more of a SaaS model where we can scale quite quickly. So it really falls in line with our commercialisation roadmap, I would say. What's going to come out of the incubator is a really strong route to market through that SaaS model.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you for that, Elliot. I'm just going to do a presentation about ESA BIC very briefly about how to get onto the programme. But Elliot Parnham, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So just a few brief slides really about the ESA BIC UK at Leicester. Space Park is the host for ESA BIC UK at Leicester. So anyone joining the programme here would get access to the desk and the opportunity to work with the very best in space scientists and observation scientists. Just to say, Skyfarer are here today. You've heard all about them and what they're working on within the ESA BIC itself, but we also do have another company in incubation, Lenke Space and Water Solutions, who are developing an app for farmers in sub-Saharan Africa. They came through at the end of 2020, and their project is quite well advanced. They have it for 2 years, so they'll be here right through now till the end of next year. Over the course of the ESA BIC being here at Leicester, we will pay out around about £130,000 in incentive payments directly to companies to be able to develop their product or service. Okay.
Should have done.
There we go, yeah. So just so that colleagues in the room and online know, the eligibility to join the ESA BIC UK at Leicester. Oh yeah, actually, we'll just tell you what the package is very quickly. So if you do join, if you are successful, then there's a range of support that you get here from the university. It's business coaching, which comes from our entrepreneurs and residents to enable those companies taking the journey to be incubated here, to understand about how to overcome potential business barriers. There's technical support supplied in part here by academic staff, but also by other programs, innovation programs. There's advice available from commercialisation teams on IP, access to a desk here at Space Park Leicester, and then incentive payments, so 3 payments totaling €50,000 or a fixed exchange rate of £43,103 to the company whilst they incubate. And this is for companies who want to develop a product or service for the space sector. To be eligible, your company, or if you haven't started yet, need to be less than 5 years in terms of when you first registered. The founders of the company must own most of the company, so at least 51% of it. Be able to work in the UK and have a space connection. Now, I'll just come on to that as the last slide. The space connection is important because you could apply for ESA BIC, being a company that has no relationship to the space sector. That's absolutely possible, you can do that. But you have to assess what your product or service is and how it might use space information, data, space technology to be able to develop a product or service. And typically that is technologies in space, so that's upstream, and then technologies from space downstream, so information, data, and satellites, that sort of thing. And before you apply, there's something called a space connection assessment document. So if you don't even think at the moment your business is at all related to space, have a look at that document and just see if you can try and link your business to space. How could you use space to make your business more innovative? And potentially you could be applying for ESA BIC. The next window to apply is March next year. Okay, thanks everyone for that.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions from the public? I mean, before we pass the next presentation. So here and also online, any questions? Yes, we do.
So it's I think so. Yes. So how did you deal with the human element? Oh, sorry. How did you deal with the human element? So presumably, when you're talking to companies about the, saying how great drone delivery is, then there will be barriers of trust and changing the way that they currently do things. Firstly, how did you explain the benefits to them, and what kind of reception did you get, and how did you kind of overcome any of these trust issues in technology your development?
I think one of the things is a lot of people already know that current logistics is a little bit outdated, and it's not something that is you can pump more money in to solve our logistical problems. It really all goes down to sort of the carbon targets as well, and congestion building, and that's a £6.9 billion problem in the UK. And you start to mention some of these things and talk through them, then those initial worries of adopting new technology go away, because it just seems like new technology is the only way forwards. So that really does help with breaking down barriers, but also giving them case studies and examples of what we've already done and what the technology's already done as well, to prove that it's safe and secure, is probably a key step as well, and especially working with the NHS. They're very risk averse, so they want to know that you've got security levels in there and you've got redundancy and safety. And fundamentally, we wouldn't be allowed to do what we do if we didn't get the approval from the Civil Aviation Authority. And they look at this risk management level. So it really, at first, we've been quite fortunate to have some of these conversations with the likes of the NHS. They want to adopt innovation and new technology, and they can see the benefits in it. We just need to stage out that roadmap of implementation, just to make sure that it's as safe and reliable as possible.
So just a quick follow-up one. How do you intend on showing them how it works. So when you're actually starting to implement it, how do you then go and collect the data to create case studies and show that it's benefiting their, what in the NHS, the patients or the logistics side of things, or if it's a private business, their business, so help their business grow.
I think the first thing is seeing is believing, and for the Cranfield event that was in the video, some had never sort of seen drones do things like that in person, and to see it in person just completely changes perceptions. So doing more actual physical trials where we invite key people along to see, I think is a really good first step. And then also capturing media like this, as simple as it is also good to changing perceptions and building up that relationship. On a data perspective, yeah, we need to do more flying, we need to do more interaction with those stakeholders, and that's really what the roadmap we're on now. We're on a path now to build the UK's first network of scalable logistics in the West Midlands, and that's going to happen next summer. So we're at a pivotal time now to start changing perceptions and start really bringing this capability to market.
Very much. Thank you. Any other questions?
Also to you. Yeah, I was just thinking when you were talking, it's the best time because of the whole truck drivers catastrophe that's happening. But I wanted to ask you, because you're quite young, I'm interested in how you took the leadership role. Like, were you trained for it? Have you found it difficult? Were you born with this capacity? Or what challenges have you had to like manage a team?
Let me tell you, I'm completely out of my depth. I've got no idea what I'm doing. The thing is kind of accepting that, and I think being solution driven. And I think as an engineer, you're a natural problem solver, which kind of helped me. And looking back, there was some entrepreneurial things that I did when I was younger that I didn't really realise, and I was quite tenacious. So I think it's more of an attitude than anything, an attitude of you can failure happens, and seeing it as a good thing and try and learn from it and build on that as a capability. And that goes into leadership as well, and managing people and building a team and building an idea off the ground. So I would say a lot of people don't do things because they don't know how to do it, particularly they don't have that rule book. But I think that's the bit that really excites me, is because it hasn't been written down before, no one knows what to do. So can I really be wrong in what I'm doing? I just got to go out there and try it. And the first thing that I realised was that building a business is not just something that one person can do. You need a really, really strong team to build it from an idea to something that's real. So I think that the biggest part of leadership is all around building that team, captivating them with a vision, and giving them the environment to work and grow this idea into something real.
Thank you. In a minute, any questions from the public connected online?
No, nothing so far.
I clearly invite also people connected on Teams to drop questions in the chat. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Well, we've got Elliot in the chair. I'm just fascinated because I work with clients in the logistics sector. Do you visualise this being sort of like a hub-to-hub transportation, and then individual distribution hubs, so you sort of bigger drones that would do sort of bulk transportation between hubs, and then have a network of smaller drones that would deliver directly to the end users? Is that kind of the visualisation?
Yes, yeah, you read my mind. So we're looking at an ecosystem of end-to-end logistics. So that's hub-to-hub, which is bulky national delivery, and there are drones out there with like a 1.5 ton payload that can do that operation, that are autonomous. And then that disseminates down to hub-to-hub in that hub-centric network, and that would be, say, an urban airport hub that's quite centralised in the West Midlands, delivering out to hospitals that would be spokes. You've also got that spoke transfer capability with the pathology sample distribution. And then onto the final bit, which is the last mile, or the spoke to door, which is, I would say, over 10 years away, due to some of the regulatory difficulties and flying over populated areas that we have to overcome. But at the moment, the focus is on the middle mile. It's the most feasible in the near term. It's something that we can commercialise in the next 2 years, I would say.
Thank you. We are running